In this video, we are going to talk about the Johnson Controls System Configuration Tool, or SCT for short. What SCT is a component of Metasys that allows you to back up the programming and the database that is within a network engine as well as the server. You can imagine it as a backup for like your computer. Basically, if you have a network engine go down, if you have one fail and you have a backup of that database, you can then reload a new network engine with that database to get your system back up and running. It is a good idea to regularly back up your system, especially if you make a lot of changes to the programming or anything like that, graphics or anything, because you only will be able to reload graphics or reload any of the data that is within that network engine or even your server from the last backup that you have. If you have a server go down or a network engine go down and you do not have a backup, you're having a very bad day, because then you're going to have to rebuild everything from scratch. So regularly use SCT for backups. Now, what we're going to do in this video is I'm actually going to show you another way that you can use SCT, where you will be creating one extension, one for a point, basically just one point, and then creating an extension and then copy and pasting that extension to the rest of the devices within your system. For this particular exercise, we're actually going to be adding an alarm to a zone temperature for an entire building. We're going to be doing both network engines, which I'm only going to show you one in this video, but I'm going to show you the steps and how you can use SCT for this. It's a very powerful tool. Again, a lot of the programming that you can do for your network engine, for your system, for your database, can be done either live or done within SCT. And there are some advantages and disadvantages to each. But for now, let's jump over to SCT and show you how to add those extensions. Here we are in SCT, and I have one of my points highlighted, and basically what I want to do is I am going to right click, and this is where I will add my extensions. So I'm going to select New for the alarm extension, and if you guys go back and watch my previous video, I give a little bit of an explanation about the different types of these sections for the alarm extensions. We are actually going to be using this and tying to the effective cooling and effective heating. And if you go back and watch that other video on my channel, I give you details as to why it is important to use the effective heating and the effective cooling for your alarm extensions, because that changes based upon the occupancy command of the box, and it makes your life a little bit easier so you don't get as many nuisance alarms. And you can see here, I'm just going to pull this over to make sure that I get the right point, and then I'm going to drill down to my controller to get that effective cooling and effective heating value. You can see there I have added the first one. I'm going to go back in, I'm going to drill back down again to my controller, and then I'm going to grab the other one. I also want to grab the occupancy command and then make sure that I set the unoccupied state for the alarm extension. And it's critical that you do that, because what will happen if you do not set that, for example, if you use just a high number or just the common set point to do a single set point alarm, if you have your box unoccupied and that temperature goes out of range of that alarm, you're going to get a nuisance alarm. So you don't want to do that. Here I'm going to add a couple of degree differential. You can add whatever you want, but I'm just going to throw a 2-degree differential in here. You can also add percentages for high warnings, low warnings, or just whatever you want. You can make it real functional depending on your system. Make your life easy and all that kind of fun stuff. Go in and configure these things up. And, if you set them up right, it can make your life a little easier when you're trying to troubleshoot, and you can literally highlight in the entire floor, and it'll help you pinpoint where your problems are. Now close that out, didn't mean to, but here we go. Let's go back in. I'm just going to open this up. What I want to do is I'm going to check that, and then I'm going to select copy extension. When I copy that extension, I'm now going to go down to paste it into one of my other boxes, because I want to do this and show you something very critical. What you want to make sure of is, you remember earlier we grabbed those points at effective cooling and heating. You can see it here. I've pasted that in there now, and I want to make sure that I have got the addressing correct. When I paste it in there, it does update the device address for you. You can go in there and it will update update that address and stuff, because there again, this is two different controllers. I want to make sure that the point follows it. You can see here I got a duplicate, and you can go in there and you can delete. I'm just kind of showing you some of the stuff that you can do here while I'm talking. And again, I'm just going to use one of them for this device. And you can go in, add new, you can do whatever you want to do. You can set up multiple things here to make your system function the way that you need it to. Now I'm going to double click into this, and I'm going to go over to my alarm tab. And you can see here, this is my configuration. And what I want to look at is the address. Then the FQR, I want to make sure that that address matches the new box, because if I was to paste this in, and for most part, I don't really think there's any versions of Metasys, maybe some of the older ones that do, but you can see here, I'm just hovering over this and I can see that different address for that device. I want to make sure that those points get migrated to that device as well. I want to make sure that it's going to look at the proper points. Okay. And you can do just like what I did here. You copy and paste it to one, go back, check to make sure that it is moving that device address, that it is looking at the effective occupancy, heating, and cooling, based on the device address. Okay. You don't want to have that alarm looking at values from a completely different device. Save yourself a lot of time and a lot of trouble. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to select all of my devices. I just clicked on that first one, scroll down, and then just clicked on the bottom one. And then I'm going to go up to query, and I'm going to do a search. You can see here, you've got all of these different tools here. I'm just going to do a search, and what I'm going to type in here, I'm going to use the star wildcard, and then just type in for my zone temp, my effective zone temp. And when I do a search for this, just make sure I get my syntax right. When I do a search for this, it's going to give me all of the zone temp values for the ones that I have selected. It's going to look inside all of those, and it's going to give me all of those values, exactly what I was needing. You got to make sure you get your syntax right on this to be able to do it. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to select all. And once I do that select all, I have the option to paste that extension. Okay, just like that. And it's going to take you just a minute. It's not going to let you scroll or anything, and you're going to think that it's locked up on you. So be aware of that. You're going to think that your SCT has locked up on you if you're pasting that extension to a large number of your devices. Okay, so it's going to take it just a minute before it actually pops up with a window to tell you that all of your points got pasted effectively, that they're all there. And I'm just going to go ahead and pause real quick, and then we're going to jump back when that comes back up for us. Here we are. It has pasted all of the extensions to those points. Now the only thing that I have to do now is basically to download that network engine. And one thing you need to remember is you cannot do this as far as different point types. All of the points that you do this must be the same point type. Okay, it's not like you can go through different types of points, different types of controllers and stuff like that. They need to be the exact same point type in order for this to work effectively. But that is one way that you can use SCT to save yourself a lot of time and add these point extensions like this. There's a lot of other things you can do as far as programming. You can do a lot of your database programming right within SCT. So that is a big function of what this particular software is. It lets you do things like this. It lets you maintain backups of the database for each of your devices. It lets you go in and modify programming within the devices without affecting the device until you're ready to download it. Okay, you can't really do a lot of the testing for some things until you get it live, but SCT is a very powerful tool. And you can see here, I am going through the process to do a download of this device. We're going to go ahead and let this run now. And I'm not going to change any kind of name or IP. I'm going to communicate through the site director. That way I don't have to worry about anything causing issues. You know, it seems to go a little smoother. It's already paired, so I don't need to do that. And then now I'm simply going to press the download button and let the device download after I have made all of my changes. Guys, I hope this video is helpful to you. If it is, I would appreciate it if you would like and share the video. Leave me a comment with any questions down below. Check out all of the affiliate links down below. Anything you do to help support the channel, I greatly appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Check out the rest of the videos on my channel, and we'll see you next time.